Hi guys. Thank you so much for hopping on early. And I just want to make sure that we kind of go through everything real quick. So try and keep your mic muted the whole time, just because otherwise your video will come on instead of mine showing the actual cooking. So one thing to keep in mind. The other things are, this is going to be recorded, so if you did want to take a look at it after, just let us know and I can send you the link to that. And we'll be able to send this out to everyone who was not able to make it on as well. Also, make sure you take some fun photos during this cooking session because we'd love to post it on our socials. So send any photos you take, whether it's of you cooking or of you of your meal afterward as well. So just let us know and send it to photos@bpcs.com. And if you have any questions throughout the whole thing, all you have to do is on the bottom left-hand corner, you should see a little box that says open chat, and then you can type in a message. So feel free to send any messages you have, questions you have. And for some reason, if I don't see the screen while I'm cooking and you have a question that you need to ask, feel free to unmute yourself and then ask the question and then go back to mute. Okay, so another quick thing you might want to do is change the name on your Jitsi account. So all you have to do is hover over your video on the right-hand side, hover over it, click on it, and type in your name. You can also change it by clicking on the three dots on the right-hand corner and clicking on your name at the top and typing in your name. So without further ado, let's get started. If you guys haven't met me, I am Ruthie Senanayake. I am the social media manager here at Bleuprint, and I love cooking and baking and everything. And so we, at the Morale Committee, we were thinking of something fun that we wanted to do to get everyone involved and get everyone excited and together, even though we're all apart. So I'm super excited. I am very nervous. So hopefully it doesn't go bad because that would be embarrassing. But let's get started. So I'm going to show you, and my sous chef, my husband, is unfortunately stuck with work. So I'm going to show you guys, move my laptop around so I can show you what I have laid out for everything, and then we'll get started. So these are all the ingredients you will need. So hopefully you guys can see. Let me move my camera a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have, let me just put it this way, and I'll list it off because it's a little hard to move the camera around. So onion, garlic, and then pasta, and then a can or a jar of pasta sauce, which is alfredo sauce, olive oil, parmesan, and salt, pepper, chili flakes if you like it a little bit spicy, kielbasa sausage or any other substitute you want for that, 2 tomatoes, and then some broccoli. So let's get started. The first thing you are going to want to do is get out a big pan. And this is for your pasta. I have an actual pasta pan, which is nice because you can strain it, but if not, you'll want to get out a strainer as well. And then fill it up halfway with hot water from your tap. And guys, feel free to turn on your cameras if you want. I'd love to see you guys cooking too, so that it doesn't feel so one-sided. So we'll get it on the stove, and then there we go. So get it on the stove and turn it on high, and you can put the lid on. So a couple tricks and to get pasta the best way possible is that you have to get it boiling hot before when you put it in. And number one thing, salt the pasta. So I know it may seem like crazy amount of salt, but trust me, the more salt, the better, because the pasta tastes so good. So you can add in salt, and I add a lot. A lot of chefs that I've watched cook pasta, they've always said make it as salty as the sea. So go ahead and do that. Put in enough salt, and not all the salt actually gets absorbed into it. It just cooks with it. So don't think it's like way too much. Okay, so while that's boiling, and you can put that on a high, we're gonna start getting the pan hot. And this is for the sausage. So put that on medium heat and get out a cutting board. There we go. So the first thing is we'll put some olive oil. I like this one from Trader Joe's. And put a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 tablespoons on your pan. Now, depending on what kind of meat you have, you're going to want to add more or less olive oil. So the fattier the meat, the less oil. The leaner the meat. So if you're cooking with turkey or something like chicken, you're going to want more oil. Okay, so let's cut up the onion, and we're going to use about 1/2 an onion. And how I like to cut my onion is I like to cut either side off, and then slice it a little bit just through that first layer, and then you can peel the whole thing off super, super easy. There you go. Oh, and another tip I totally forgot to mention is some people put oil into the pasta water. Don't do that. That's a no-no. It doesn't do anything, really. And because mainly the oil just floats at the top. So, and then I like to cut the onions this way. So in circles, just like I just like the texture of it. You get bigger pieces of the onion. There we go. And you can put that into the oil. And I like to break them up so that they're not all clumped together. And I love onions, and that's why I use a lot, but feel free to use less or more depending on what you like. And honestly, this whole recipe can be modified to whatever you like. So feel free to add and take out if you don't like certain ingredients. I just randomly put this together one night, and it is now my husband's favorite dish. So we make it a lot. I'm just going to put the onion away. Okay, next thing is the garlic. So these are not peeled, they're fresh garlic. You can just hit them with the knife flat and it takes off the peel, which is a nice little trick too. And you can use, again, as much or as little or as a lot of garlic as you want. I'm using around 3 big cloves. Go peel those guys off. Perfect. And then smash them again to make it all smashed up. And then you can chop it up super fine. I don't like eating big chunks of garlic, but if you like big chunks, feel free to do that too. So one thing to take note of is whenever you're cooking with garlic and onions, I used to always put my garlic in at the same time as my onions, but then I realized that garlic actually burns super quick. So make sure you keep or let your onions cook first, and then after that you can add in your garlic. So mix up those onions and get them nice and light brown before we add in anything else. And while that's doing that, we can set the garlic aside and start chopping up the sausage. Okay, so before we get our sausage in there, we can put the pasta in. And I love pasta, so I eat a lot of pasta. So depending on how much you want to eat, I usually say the average amount people eat is like 1 cup of uncooked pasta per person. But I add in a little bit more because usually there's enough of the sausage mixture for my husband and I, and then for another meal too. So you can also add in more if you want. And then mix that up really, really well so that the salt is mixed in really well with the water. And there you go. Okay, so my onions are starting to brown now, which is awesome. So we'll open up the sausage. This is what my kielbasa sausage looks like. This one is a turkey version, but the sausage usually has a little bit more fat in it than the regular turkey. So I am going to use this one. And then what I do is, hopefully you guys can see this. So I cut it in half, put it together like this, and then start slicing sideways. That way you get more char on the sausage itself. You get 2 sausages in one go. It's pretty easy. So we'll add that to the onions and the olive oil. Oh, I'm seeing some comments come in. Awesome. Yes, Melissa, why not? I will come to your house and cook anytime. Okay, so once we get all the sausage sliced up, we can just add it in there really quick and then let that brown. Once it's like a little bit brown, you can add in the garlic. And then we'll keep mixing the pasta as well. We don't want it to stick to the bottom. And guys, remember to take some photos while you're cooking with your kids, or you're just at home by yourself, whatever it is. We'd love to see it. Send it to photos@bpcs.com. Okay, so the next thing we're going to chop up is the tomatoes and the broccoli. Now my broccoli is pretty much already chopped up, but if yours is not, go ahead and chop that too. And my sausage is getting slightly brown, so we're going to add in the garlic now. We'll chop up the tomatoes. Make sure you wash them off. Now I like to cut mine in circles and then cube them. So however you like to eat your tomatoes. And again, if you want more, feel free to add more. And depending on what kind of pasta, you want to keep checking it. Mine usually takes around 10 minutes, but there's nothing worse than overcooked pasta. It's just gross. So make sure you check your pasta. We want to make sure it's cooked fully. I like mine al dente, so it's a little crunch to it in the middle, depending on the kind. I use penne. Farfalle also has that nice little bite to it, so. And I'll take this time to just remind everyone, if you want to take part and be our next host for the next one, we are going to be doing that in 2 weeks. All you have to do is fill out the form that Lonnie sent the link to. If you don't have that link and you still want to take part, send us a message, and we want you all to take part. So make sure you send us a message, and we'll get that link to you, get everyone involved. So we'll mix the pasta again. Sweet. So let me show you what this looks like right now. It's a little bit of a brown. You see that little bit brown on there. So what we're going to do, oh Lonnie, yes, my cutting board is plastic. Yeah. Okay, so once that's browned a little bit, you can now add all your tomatoes that are chopped up. And I like having a little bit of that tomato juice as well. It's really nice. And then we'll add our broccoli. And I like to add about 2 cups. And if there are bigger chunks, make sure you cut it up. And again, I love broccoli, so I'll add a lot in. And let that cook a little bit. Mix it And now what I really love using, instead of regular water to kind of weigh this down, I use the pasta water. Since it's already starchy, might as well use that yummy salty water. So just take a little bit of the pasta water and pour it into the pan. You don't want too much, but just grab a little bit. I'm going to taste my pasta to make sure it's not overcooked. And hopefully don't burn my mouth doing it. Okay, still has a little way to go. Okay, look at how colorful this is. I love it. So keep mixing and adding. So once you've got that water added, it'll start to steam the veggies and water it down. I'm going to turn my stove up just a little bit. Okay, so the next one you're going to want to get ready is the pasta sauce. You can use any type of alfredo sauce and red sauce if you really don't like the white sauce. But this particular one is a garlic alfredo. So as I said, I love garlic, so I have garlic in everything. And then you'll also want to get out any of your spice that you want to add. I am Sri Lankan, so I have all my spices that my mom put in here for me, all the Sri Lankan spices, and I have very, very spicy chili flakes, so I'm excited to use that. I use that in every dish, pretty much. So once this is cooked down a little bit more, you can add in those chili flakes. And as much or as little as you like. And then stir it up, get that fully mixed in before we get any of the sauce in there. And now we'll add the sauce. So you can add as much as you like, but what I like to do, usually the sauce is pretty thick, so I'll add in a bottle of the sauce, and then there's a bunch left in there. So what I like to do is add a little bit of milk, but if you want, you can also add the pasta water, whatever you like to do. But I'm just going to add in a tiny bit of milk. And then close the lid, shake, shake, shake. And then put it in here. So you're not wasting any part of that. Okay, got a little bit of a mess on the counter, so I'm going to wipe that up. Perfect. Okay, so then make sure you're mixing all of this. And if it's still too watery for you, not watery, sorry, still too thick for you, feel free to add more of that pasta water. And then while that's doing that, we'll try the pasta again. my pasta is done. So you can strain the pasta. I have the handy dandy lid with me, so you can just strain it right into the sink. And then move it off to the side, but you can always add just a touch of olive oil. And what that does is it makes it so it does not stick. So just put just a tiny bit. And mix it all up. And keep it closed so it stays nice and warm. There we go. So our pasta's almost done. There we go. So this is what it should look like. If you can see that well. So always let it just simmer just for a couple more minutes to get all that nice flavor out. And we're ready to plate. So get my nice bowl / plate and then add your pasta in. As I said, I love pasta, so grab a little. And then top it off with the sausage. Get some sauce as well. And then you can top it all off with a little bit of parmesan so it nicely melts on the top. And that is it. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to unmute now and feel free to unmute and ask any questions, and then we'll be done. But thank you guys so much for joining. It's been fun. Something I make literally probably almost once a week. And so it's fun to share it with you guys. I just made it up on a whim, and it's been a favorite of ours now. So if you guys have any questions, send it in the chat, Slack me, let me know. And make sure if you want to be our next host, make sure you fill out the form, the Microsoft form, and we'll have you be our next host. But we're so excited. We'll also, just to keep in mind, the next one is going to be at 5:30. I'm going to get that slide up real quick. It will be at 5:30 so that anyone else can join who regularly would not be able to at this time. But we'll also make sure that the next one we will have people join at various different times. So we want to make sure no matter what time zone you're in, we'll have a good time for you. So we'll get this final slide up. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Well done, Ruthie.
Thank
Sounds
you.
delicious. Looking forward.
Thanks, Ruthie.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Ruthie. Nice job.
See you guys.
Ruthie,
Yes, Lonnie.
where are the cookies? I thought we were going to do cookies if we had extra time.
Yeah, but then I thought, I don't know if many people have all the ingredients, so I thought we'd just keep it easy.
Oh man. Okay, we have to do cookies. Maybe you will just do this with me and my kids. Can I sign up for that?
100%. Cookie time.
Woohoo!
Love it.
I love it too. It was so good. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, of course.